Hi there, this is Steve Meyer, the market chartist on behalf of forexfraud.com, and we're now going to take a look at both the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar and also versus the British pound in here. Against both these currencies, although the US dollar has stayed very, very firm versus many of the major currencies, global currencies, since the US presidential election result, particularly versus the euro and the yen. In fact, we'll have a quick look at those now. Here we see the euro dollar plummeting more recently since the ECB, but much lower since the presidential election result, and Japanese yen surging higher since the presidential election result. Different story for the Canadian dollar and the British pound in here, both of which are actually higher versus are stronger. They both those currencies stronger, higher versus the US dollar than since the election result. So here we see dollar CAD first of all. Dollar CAD moving lower. That's dollar weakness, Canadian dollar strength since the late part of November, and in early December in here, in fact last week, we saw a push down through 132.62. That created this topping structure in here, and that topping structure shifting the broader intermediate term bullish theme, which has really been intact in here since May, and we've seen a more stronger tone in here through the first quarter of Q4. But the setback in here in December through 132.62 causing us to shift the intermediate term outlook now into the end of the year, and maybe early January, to more of a range theme between this really 129.96 level and 135.88. So a more neutral tone here on a bigger picture outlook, with the breakdown in here in dollar CAD, that's Canadian dollar strength, so a slightly weaker US dollar in this case. And then also on the pound in here, the pound back over here is the US presidential election result. The market's still higher despite a slight setback in the end of last week in here. The push above 126.74 in here, enough for us to shift that intermediate term outlook from bearish. Obviously we had a bearish tone post Brexit. That was a Brexit sell-off. Then we had the flash crash in here in the beginning of October. But the market now more of a neutral tone despite the setback in here. And we now see a broader neutral theme between 120.83 and 131.21 into the end of the year and beyond. So range themes for the pound and the Canadian dollar versus the US currency, although the US dollar still retaining a broader bullish theme against most G8, G10 currencies. This has been Steve Meyer, the market chartist on behalf of forexfraud.com, and I wish you a great trading week.